On the next episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes.
Today we're going to be drinking winter beers.
The beers that we'll be trying today. First up, we'll have Victory Brewing Company's Winter Cheers, which is a 6.7% ABV hazy wheat ale. We will then move into Prairie Artisan Ales Seasick Crocodile, 4.8% ABV American Wild Ale. New Belgium Brewing Company's Accumulation at 6.2% ABV White IPA will be third. Fourth, Bell's Brewery's Bright White, a 5% Belgian-inspired wheat. Fifth, Harpoon Brewing's The Long Thaw, a 6.2% ABV White IPA. Then good old Boston Beer Company's Cold Snap, a 5.3% white ale. And then finally, a entry from the Spencer Brewery, their Winter Warmer, a 5.3% amber lager.
We'll be right back after this break. Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hey everyone, welcome again to another Sud segment where we feel good beer is best when it's paired with bad accents and long belches.
For sure.
Yeah. Sehr gut.
You knew it was coming.
Exactly. I am one of your hosts, good old Gal Juliana, and joining me today at the table is Reverend Mark.
Hello, everyone.
Spreading the good news of
That
the
was
beer
so
month.
subtle.
Yes. Bringing you the gospel of good beer.
True, true. Good old boy Mike, hello.
Well, I'm so glad that most of the TRO elements have been lifted in Canada against me, so I get to talk about beer again.
Whew, thank God. I mean, it was touch and go there for a minute.
Well, you know, those people in Saskatchewan, just a little touchy, you know.
Banned once again.
Yeah, well, they do like their words pronounced
Kick
correctly.
him out.
What did TRL and Carson Daly have to do with you in Canada?
Ah, such
a
a
callback.
sweet youngster.
Bail denied.
Good old boy Drew, hello.
I'm just so pleased to be here.
That's his new catchphrase.
Gotcha. The original recipe.
Yeah.
Good old boy Dave.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Yes, Bart.
That was Pee Wee, man.
Oh, really? Yeah. Sounded like Bart Simpson. Sorry. Kind of did. Well, burr. It is cold outside, and that makes me one happy camper. It's winter time.
Freezing my nuts off.
Gilbert Gottfried, right? Okay.
Nice. Well, I happen to really enjoy this time of year. I'm probably the only one at the table that can say that.
Yes.
I love the winter.
Tell me how you really feel. Well, today we're going to be drinking winter beers as opposed to winter beets. Now, a lot of us may be more prone to drinking big boozy stouts or barley wines this time of year, and we all are nodding our heads in agreement on that. And those are great for warming you up from the inside out, if you know what I mean. But a lot of breweries are putting out somewhat lighter beers, and not necessarily just in appearance, but also in body and ABV. So today we're going to talk about those. Good old boy Drew, why don't you give us today's lineup?
Absolutely. The winter seasonal beers that we'll be trying today are...
Yes, everyone. I wrote beets instead of beers. Okay, sorry.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. You know?
Autocorrect strikes again.
Which
Do we have
makes
some borscht to go with this?
Ooh.
which makes me wonder though,
Do
why
winter
is he
beets
typing
taste
beets?
different than summer beets?
I like beets. You know,
Beets are delicious. Roasted,
they make your poo look weird, but
mashed. I don't usually examine my poo too closely.
well, maybe you should be self-aware.
Yeah.
Drew.
Let
Your
me write-
body will tell you.
Let me write
when
down the
it's healthy or
episode
not.
title here: "The Harassment of Dave Again."
Yes.
Part 372.
Have a beet.
It's a good old boy Dave beat down. Yeah, that's right.
Well, back to the issue at hand, the beers that we'll be trying today. First up, we'll have Victory Brewing Company's Winter Cheers, which is a 6.7% ABV hazy wheat ale. We will then move into Prairie Artisan Ales Seasick Crocodile. Yes, that's the reference. 4.8% ABV American Wild Ale. New Belgium Brewing Company's Accumulation at 6.2% ABV White IPA will be third. Bell's Brewery's Bright White, a 5% Belgian-inspired wheat. Fourth. Fifth, Harpoon Brewing's The Long Thaw, a 6.2% ABV White IPA. Then good old Boston Beer Company's Cold Snap, a 5.3% white ale. And then finally, a entry from the Spencer Brewery, their Winter Warmer, a 5.3% amber lager.
Baby, it's cold
Wait,
outside.
I don't know if you can do that one anymore, Mike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get canceled. You're gonna get us canceled.
You can sing anything. You just can't sing the rest of it.
Well, thank you very much, good old boy Drew. Okay, Reverend Mark, you're up next. Please
All
give us
right.
the Suds ratings for today.
Be glad to. We'll be discussing and rating these beers with these Suds ratings, plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. Number 1. Ooh, that really sucks. Give me anything but a Bud.
A Bud Ice.
Bud Ice, yeah. Number 2. Was that a belch?
No, it was an ice house.
Oh snap!
And number 3. Ah, what a relief. Number 4. A body should really not make that sound. And number 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another.
So, Mike, when you were first creating the signature belching sounds, why does number 4 have an angel heavenly chorus and number 5 doesn't?
Because it was just the heavenly aspects of the aura of the angels. I was like, the heavens apart, and you'll hear the sound that comes as you're having beer number 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
I don't buy it.
yeah, I don't
Yes.
get it either, but okay. Moving on. So, for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time,
Wow.
What we-
should we give them some fair warning?
they've seen the ratings.
Make sure your children
They're
aren't in
already-
the
Yeah,
room.
there you go. I agree. This is a family beer show that your family should not be around.
It's manageable, but I don't know if I like it or hate it.
Fair.
So we did a little pre-tasting, and we're going to go over these beers individually now and give our ratings. One thing minus one beer in particular, these are all very light, and if I didn't have any idea, I would say they're all like IPA-ish and
Summer
you know,
beers, you know.
yeah, and summer beery kind of things.
But they're not.
Lawnmower beers, but
In the winter.
Snowblower
Snowblower beers.
yeah.
yeah, snowblower beers.
Yeah.
I actually saw a snowblower for sale in a thrift store down here, like Bargain Hunt. You familiar with
Really?
those? Yeah, and I was like, why did that get shipped to Tennessee in the first place?
Did it miss Gatlinburg? Is that like...
They don't even get the volume of snow required to actually run a blower. I mean, I've never lived in an area where I was required to own a blower. I was young enough that
I
other
believe
people took care of that. But
Juliana can enlighten you.
I have a
on,
feeling there might be somebody sitting at this table that knows something about the minimum amount of snow required to run a blower.
Now, we have a legit snow shovel that came from up north.
Yeah, as opposed to what my wonderful husband tried to do on
Dave,
one
there's no
snowfall.
high requirement for the usage of that tool.
Wow.
As long as it's not taller than you are, I think it works.
He's searching. There you go. I knew we were getting to the right.
No, I was thinking about the year that Dave was kind enough to try to torch away the snow.
The 1 year we actually got enough snow to do something, I have a propane torch, and I rednecked it, man. It worked.
Is there evidence on YouTube?
There's evidence on my phone. There's a video.
YouTube.
Yes.
Well, so I had a guy that worked for me quite a while ago, about 10, 15 years ago, and he was late to a meeting, and he was apologizing because his driveway heaters had malfunctioned, and he was not able to get out of his driveway. He was in Wisconsin.
1%.
And you have heated driveways in Wisconsin, so you don't have to shovel anything. So
Man, I thought like a heated bathroom floor was bougie.
Yeah,
this is bougie.
Well, yeah, I have one of those, but
I rest my case.
Yeah, but but he showed me the picture when I was like, I've never heard of such a thing, and I'm like, I don't have that in my place in New Hampshire. I don't have a driveway in place in New Hampshire, so.
Like some sort of steam tunnel or something?
It's just literally electric coils, that's just a
probably
big
the same technology.
Same technology as the bathroom. Yeah, it's just radiant heat, So I'm like, but it doesn't heat the whole driveway. It just basically makes the spots on the drive, so your
Do you think
tires don't have anything.
Sometimes when he and his wife or whoever are going on a trip and they're like, oh my God, did I turn the driveway off?
Yeah.
But when I was doing the New Belgian tour in Fort Collins, they actually convert their methane through a pipe system that then thaws out all of their loading docks, driveways, everything. Yeah.
I asked about the steam tunnels because I went to a boarding school and they heated all of their old buildings with steam piped through from a big boiler room and
boarding school, eh?
Yeah,
bougie. Little Lord Fauntleroy.
I just have this bad mental image of Carl lining everybody up, at Black Abbey and farting into a tube and going, "Dude, we're eating the place."
Yeah.
That does sound like something he'd do.
That's what I'm saying.
Only works
Isaiah would be in on it as well,
right,
for
absolutely,
sure.
they would.
Yeah. Only works on Chili Day or maybe Taco Tuesday.
Oh, you're so punny, Dave.
Yeah, but if you do that once a week, it heats up everything for the for the month.
Yeah.
Where do you put that on your resume?
Was that mass?
Is that a skill?
It's a special skill. Special skill set. Okay, we'll be back after this brief interlude in just a minute.
That's why you have to check your poop, Drew.
Welcome back, everyone. On today's episode, we are talking about, we were talking about farts.
We're talking about Australian cows farting.
Farting your driveway, farting the snow off your driveway.
That is a knife.
Yeah. Well, let's move beyond the farting for a moment.
That'd be a first episode.
Good luck with that.
And let's talk about some winter beers.
Yay.
Okay. First one will be from, my home state, Victory Brewing Company. It's called Winter Cheers. 6.7% hazy wheat ale. It combines German wheat and barley malt, oats, torrefied wheat, and whole flour, Tettnang, and Citra hops. It's just a warm holiday brew that delivers a refreshing finish with hints of banana, clove, and citrus.
This just looks like my urine.
Well, it is rather yellow.
And fizzy.
I love the aroma on this beer. That's one of the things that really attacks you very quickly. That almost kind of a juicy fruit, kind of induced with a lot of clove.
Right. Yeah. But I didn't get the transfer onto my palate as much.
No.
Yeah.
I agree. It definitely smelled much more banana clove than tasted.
Yeah.
Well, I think the hops cut into some of that, probably a little bit.
Some of my other tasting notes here, super creamy. That winter spice is definitely there. So this is, that's probably a common theme to a lot of the beers we're going to talk about today is, there's a lot of baking spices in a bunch of these. And so
what do you mean by baking spices, Mike?
Well, I'm talking about cinnamon and clove and nutmeg and all the pumpkin spice and all that crap I really hate.
And all the Spice Girls.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
All
it's a
spice.
mistletoe bomb.
Scary.
Baby spice.
Right.
Yeah. Ginger spice.
And Old Spice.
Yeah, that was
so
their grandmother.
banana is actually not a baking spice, but that's more of a byproduct of yeast. So if they're using a Belgian yeast, that would probably be a very common way.
Yeast farts.
Yeah, that you would have. But I did get the winter spice off this. I thought the clove was probably the dominant spice for this. This was very well balanced. And I did not write that down a whole lot today. So
Yeah, and I got a little bit of mineral in there too. It just almost like a splash of Perrier, but that's just me.
No, I agree with you 100% there, Rev.
like a minerality.
A little minerality.
Like a nice white wine, just sucking on a rock.
I can see that.
Isn't that Keystone State water?
Yes. Could be.
Right.
I think, in terms of winter beers, I like this rendition. I never would have really thought of like a wheat, as a winter beer per se, but I like this spice balance on it. And it doesn't, how some wheats are very, very weedy? Like, yes, there's a creaminess, but it's not like that super weedy flavor. And I appreciate that so much. And I appreciate the balance of the spices on here. And that bit of hops, which is like, ooh, hey, that's something I can really enjoy.
It's not my favorite style of beer, but it's okay.
There's a bit of street pole lube on this.
I'm sorry.
Street pole lube. I like that.
Well, guys, it's been nice doing this show for about 9 years now, and
Light
I'm
pole
sorry
lube, I
it's
should
going out with a
say.
bang.
I'm sorry it had to end like this.
Victory is Philadelphia, right? Yeah. Yep, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Right state.
It's right state, wrong part. Is it in the east or the west?
The dumpster hot tubs?
To be the west.
We actually did
So you're
an
saying that's
episode.
completely different style of lube?
It's all the Yankee. It's all Yankee stuff.
Use.
I really enjoyed this beer. I didn't get a ton of the winter baking spice. I agree, the clove was definitely there.
Yeah, it wasn't invasive. Yeah, that's why I said
Very well balanced. Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I read like Cheers, I always end up thinking of Shiner Cheer, which is probably one of the worst winter seasonals I have ever had in my entire life. So I was coming into this like just prepared to hate it, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I have to say this isn't my favorite style either. Not this particular, but any of the like an American wheat per se. Because if I'm going to have a wheat, I want the vine stopping yeast.
Yeah, I'd rather have a full blown Belgian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So how would you rate this as a wit beer?
I thought it was not to style of a wit beer. I did like the creamy aspect of it. I think that what throws me off is I don't really think of wit beer as being infused with baking spices.
Right.
So I think that's where my head was at. And
So if there was a little more like coriander or like whatever.
Yeah.
A little orange, a little citrus, a little orange peel.
Yeah. This wasn't a wit beer with clove. This was a wheat beer with baking spices.
Yeah, I like chamomile in
There's
a
a
wit
slight
beer.
difference
But
between those. Yeah.
Well, so and I guess that's what defines it from being like a traditional, like where it would be a warm weather beer. You can just put some high spices in any beer, and it's a winter beer, I guess.
They're not calling out any baking spices in the description. So perhaps that in our minds and coming from the yeast?
But
is that from the yeast?
Right, yeah.
The banana clove and
just the natural.
There's no way you're going to get that clove without adding clove spice in it.
Some of those,
I don't think they add clove to Hoegaarden, and I get a lot of it.
Clove
So you're saying that the clove came for maybe the Tettnang?
No, I'm saying we're saying through the the byproducts of the yeast.
Yeah.
Like they
I don't
probably
know.
use-
I don't
Yeah.
know a yeast that produces a clove over time.
Well, Weinstoppen will if it's low ambient, you'll get clove. But if it's high ambient, you get banana.
Yeah.
If it's high, you get bubblegum.
Yeah.
I
what
think
he
you're.
said.
I think you're giving Victory a lot more credit because I think they're just drop clove in the tanks.
They might have dropped some cloves in there, but I don't know because I don't think the clove was. I mean, it was the dominant flavor, but it doesn't. But if it's the style of beer in the natural process of that,
It was
kind
not
of
a
yeast,
clove beer. That I would not go that
All
far.
right, Victor, you're going to have to settle this for us.
All right.
No, I don't think that they added. I mean, I was looking and they haven't added anything to it. I think it's just their yeast strain. And maybe just with the oats that they have and the hops that they have, that it was just accentuated a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know. And to clear that up, they are from Downingtown, so they're west of Philadelphia, but they're still classified as the east side of the state.
About to say what? Yeah,
Yes.
Mike's all
almost.
like, yeah.
It's almost a Wilmington. So at that point,
It's somewhere.
so-
It's where you drive through when your auntie makes you move to L.A. with your family because you went down and
it's practically a Delaware beer.
got
Oh my
into
gosh.
had a fight with some.
All right,
some
so, hey,
guys
what did
down at
we,
the ball course.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. So what did we rate?
Y'all are all so old.
So the Victory Brewing Company Winter Cheers beer, we rated a 4.
Maybe some clove flavor lubed.
Fresh Prince.
All right, let's
Yes. From West Philadelphia, born and raised
Yeah.
on playgrounds where I spent
Just
most of my
making
days.
sure.
Okay,
Just
okay.
making sure.
Don't make me sing the whole thing to you,
All right.
buddy.
Let's move on to Oklahoma now, and let's go to Prairie.
Mike's favorite of the flight.
Yeah. And it's got a really funky pink color too. Anyways, so we're going to talk
This just
about
looks like my urine.
You might want to get that checked out.
yeah. We're going to talk about Seasick Crocodile. It's a 4.8% American wild ale. And it is brewed with cinnamon, cranberries, ginger, and nutmeg.
It certainly is.
Definitely cranberries.
Yeah.
Faux show.
And nutmeg.
That's tot.
Yeah, that's the thing that's getting to me is that sweet tart, kind of powdery, thing going on when you put sweet tarts in your mouth and you're crunching them. This has the exact same mouthfeel, as that. I actually, I wrote my tasting notes down, first thing I wrote was astringent, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
No, it's softened since
Yeah.
it's come out of the can.
Yep.
I got to admit, the can art is really kind of cute.
Oh, well, that's totally why it's in this flight.
100%.
I mean, yeah, that's adorable.
Prairie always does a great job with their can art.
They do. It has softened, though, a lot since I first cracked it open.
It has, yeah.
Yeah. The cranberries, to me, it's come out a little bit more, and it's kind of like softened that lactic acidiness of it. Now, is this something I would dream as a winter ale? Probably not.
No.
Right.
But I like that Prairie was thinking outside the box when they did this, which is cool.
Hey,
I get the ginger a little bit, and ginger really helps you with belches if you've been eating chili.
yeah.
Yeah, help
Warm-
with that
would not
methane
help
production.
Carl.
Kind of warms you up as well.
Yep.
So I like a little bit of the tasting table conversation we were having that I would not go to grab a wild ale naturally in the winter. There are probably, some Belgian sour beers that I do enjoy through the winter, but an American wild ale probably is something I would just let it sit there, until springtime.
Yeah.
So I think that from a style perspective, this was definitely not like the other beers that we're talking about today from a style perspective. But
Yeah.
I think if you just asked me flat out to say, hey, Mike, I'm thinking about making a wild ale and infusing it with winter spices and baking spices, I would just flat out look at them and go, this is a very bad idea. Please don't do that. But I actually This is toned down quite a bit. I think in my own head, I think of that very invasive nature of a lot of those spices. Mm-hmm. And I guess if I had to give, props to the way that they made this, I think it's a lot softer. And those spices are not so invasive. The base beer is actually still shining through. What few spices that they've infused this with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually improved for me since I first had it a little while ago.
I almost wonder if they were maybe trying to go for like a mulled wine, like not a mulled wine, like
to replace that in like a holiday party or complement. I agree.
Something or to at least kind of bring your mind to that.
Yep, I did write that for one of the beers in our flight today, but not this one.
But, I wonder if they're thinking, okay, so the average person that likes Prairie is going to be somebody that likes something a little bit tartar in general, right? Because, their portfolio
or just something weird
is not traditional lagers and
right.
And
it's right there on the
right?
shelf. Weird beers that Dave might like.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, if they're thinking, well, what can we do to give them a winter option for those people that don't want to drink the, bourbon stouts and allspice bombs,
Well, and some people really only like to drink more sour beers. Like you get to that point
That's very
in
true.
your beer journey where you're like, you first really start liking sour beers finally. And you're like, crap, that's all I want to drink.
Right.
Yeah. That's all you drink for a
Double
while.
down.
I have definitely been around a lot of people like that they get a style in their head and,
focused.
I have a close friend. She's like that. Every place we go, she's like, Mike, what kind of great sour beers do they have here? And I'm like, God, could you just move on to something else, But yeah, she'll drink sour beers literally year round, and there's no abandon to it at all.
And that's like all she drinks.
Yes, it's very true. Yeah.
Well, and then some breweries too, they make stuff like this for the wine drinkers or whoever, people that aren't just normal beer people, but they can edge into something like this a little bit easier than they could a stout or a lager or or an IPA, something that tastes more like standard beer style.
Yeah.
This is definitely something I would suggest to someone visiting a brewery that doesn't like normal beer. Wants a cocktail, wants a wine. Here, try this one.
Yeah, totally.
Because they can focus on the spices and stuff.
Well, the Seasick Crocodile from Prairie Artisan Ales, we rated a 3. And honestly, I think this is a really good start to our flight because they've been so diverse, up to this point. Now, let's head over to Colorado and talk about New Belgium Brewing Company's Accumulation. 6.2% white IPA. It's a direct revolt against the longstanding tradition of brewing dark beers for the winter. Hey, didn't we just talk about that? Crafted with Mosaic and Amarillo hop varietals and a bit of wheat, this IPA will keep your long nights glowing blizzard white.
Baby, it's cold outside. Wow. First word I wrote down was crushable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an easy drinker.
Yeah.
So basically a white IPA is an IPA that's wheat based, right?
This is definitely one of those moments where you drive, buy a 12-pack and you look over and you're like, there's only 4 beers left.
Where did all that go? Yeah.
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 And they up the ABV, but it's still, like you say, crushable. So it doesn't.
Not a session beer.
I don't normally associate that with winter, but this is sort of in that weird place where it has the ABV, and you wouldn't crush too many of those in a row.
Great hop blend. I really think the balance here between the Amarillo and the Mosaic is really spot on. I couldn't. There's no way to improve, over what they've done, with the hop blend here. I really love the finish. This has a nice, crisp finish. If I didn't know any better, I would have said this was a lager. If I'd probably just tasted it, not, blind, I would have accused this of being a lager with that style of finish.
Like a solid gold or something from
I feel like I have a relationship with it in my throat.
I got to depart. I actually didn't like this. I think it's the worst things of IPA and the worst things of wit put together, and I
I get that.
You know, it is what it is. I'm not a huge wit beer guy just to begin with. So that was going to make it a tough sell for me. And then I am the odd person at the table, and I've admitted this once before, and I was almost thrown out. So I hesitate to repeat myself, but I don't generally like Mosaic hops.
You know what? Get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the door.
And we're done here, folks.
Don't let the front door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Wow.
How can you go to Bearded Iris that much and say, I don't like Mosaic?
Yeah.
Something about-
What planet are you from?
It's, I mean, I can't say that I don't like Mosaic entirely, but something about the way that it plays with many of the hop blends it's usually mixed with. Like, you put Mosaic and Nelson Sauvin together, I love it. You
I'm
put
just going to
Mosaic
harass you every time we're sitting there going, wait,
See,
hang on a second.
I will
that beer
say-
has Mosaic in it. Do not serve that to him.
I will say, like, I don't always like Mosaic blended with other hops because I don't think I like Mosaic by itself.
all by
right?
itself.
See, I don't like Mosaic Promise, you know, like straight Mosaic.
Yeah, but like, I kind of feel the same way you do about like Nelson Sauvin. I don't think it blends with other hops all that well all the time. But I think sometimes people will do like a 9 hop blend or something. I'm like, dude, what's the point? Because you muddied everything up. But to me, this beer has what I like about wheat beers, which is a little bit of that sweeter base, the creamier mouthfeel, and it doesn't have what I don't always like about wits, which is like the bubble gum or the clove and banana stuff. You know, that's what pushes me off of those beers. It's got the nice hoppiness, plus it's got the mouthfeel and the ABV.
Although the IBU seems to be a little low to me, but
yeah, maybe they just weren't trying to go for a burner. I don't know. What'd you think, Juliana?
I absolutely love this. This to me reminds me of everything that I love about the winter. And I know this sounds really weird, but like I could see myself if I was hand shoveling after a big snowstorm. The air is really crisp, and every time I take a sip, I feel like it's still sort of snowing a little bit, and I'm getting a little bit of the snowflakes in my mouth while I'm drinking this. And one thing, I know this sounds really weird,
Don't
but
eat the yellow snow.
no. And then citrus. This citrus is like so fresh and so crisp. It's like I have like slices of orange that I'm eating outside while I'm shoveling.
Wow,
It's just great.
That is a very descriptive description.
We'll be right back after this brief interlude. Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode we have been talking about winter beers and the lighter side of winter. We have been discussing New Belgium Brewing Company's Accumulation, and we are rating that a 4. Now let's move to another wintry state, Michigan, and we're going to go to Bell's Brewery and talk about their Bright White. It is a 5% Belgian-inspired wheat ale. The alternative to dark and heavy winter warmer and stouts, Bright White, formerly called Winter White, is a stylish and refreshing wheat ale fermented with a Belgian yeast, a blend of barley and wheat malts that gives you clovey and fruity aromas without the use of any spices.
All right, Mike said, don't even say it's got spices in it.
I love this one. So, I mean, just go ahead and get it out of the way. It's a wheat, wit, Belgian-inspired. Don't normally like it. Really like this. I think all of those flavors play very well together. It is crushable, if you will.
Well, the flavors are kind of subtle.
Yes.
So they're not like just blowing you up in your face and stuff.
I would call it a 2-dimensional beer, and not in a bad way. I mean, it's layered, but it's not too much going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that. I think the creamy aspect of this is probably as closely aligned with a wit beer as that would be the one. This is the one beer in the flight we've had so far that I would just flat out had said this is a wit. So the spices are incredibly subtle, through this, and so I actually didn't pick up anything on the nose or even in the taste profile that just kind of really stood out to me. There's something there that I can't quite figure out. But I think that's the difference between this being a winter wheat and a wit beer is that it's not clean like a traditional wit beer would have been.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Meh. I'm sorry, I'm not as big
Not
of a
doing it
fan
for you.
as the rest. No, because this is that heavy wheat flavor that I don't necessarily appreciate in wheat beers. You know what I mean? I feel like I am tasting a big old mouthful of wheat that just got harvested.
Well, there's
Inside of
barley
the
in
grain
this
silo.
too. Yeah, so there's barley in this as well, and I think that's providing, a lot more body than a pure wheat beer here as well.
Right. Yeah, I pick up a lot more residual malt at the end than you oftentimes would with the wit beer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's just me.
Okay, that's fair. What do we rate this?
We rated the bright white from Bell's Brewery a 3. Now let's move out east and let's go to Harpoon Brewing Company. We're going to talk about the Long Thaw. This is a 6.2% white IPA. The season in New England is fickle. Snowy mornings are met by sunny afternoons, and weekday warm streaks lead into weekend blizzards. Oh, if only down here. Instead of switching up our beer choices to match the winter, they brewed the Long Thaw. It's a delightfully hazy IPA with orange peel, coriander, and American hops. Soft, crushable, and refreshingly citrusy, but medium-bodied with a warming spice. It's perfect. For mid-blizzard.
I don't know if it's perfect, but it is delightful. I like this beer. I thought the citrus came out well. I thought it was pretty well balanced. It's just a nice little IPA for me.
I also wrote crushable on this one, and it has a creamy mouthfeel to it. Very crisp hop, profile around this, but not invasive. I think this would be, if this were probably on the tap handle, I would definitely say, yeah, you'd enjoy a glass of that.
I can tell Mike's been watching a lot of Star Trek because he uses the word invasive a lot. Invasive species.
Starts referencing a prime directive.
Yes, resistance is futile.
Juliana, what do you think about this beer?
Yeah, this one is a little softer than the Accumulation in terms of the citrus. It's a little muted. It's not nothing is as crisp. It's softened. It's almost like, soft light versus like crisp light. But I really enjoy this as well. And to me, it just opens up that, something can be wintry, but it's not deep, dark, and heavy. And this is crushable as well. Cool. And I think they did a good job.
Good. No big winter spices on this.
Right. No, which I think was nice.
Yeah, and I thought the coriander was there. If I was tasting this blind, I probably would have accused it of being, a Belgian style of some kind, not a wit. But I probably would have said, honestly, I probably would have picked it as a triple or something like that. With that coriander kind of being a bit of the underlying spice here, but. Yeah, not overwhelming at all.
Yeah, and I think because they've added in the orange peel and the coriander as part of an IPA winter white type beer, that they had to dial back the hops, a little of the bittering hops at least. So I think that gives it crushability in that, for me at least, if I'm not going to be drinking a lot of high IBU offerings. So I like that.
I was not a huge fan of this one in particular, but I think I would probably like it better with food. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I would really like a lobster roll with this beer. Is lobster season winter or summer in New England?
It is
all
in fall.
seasons.
Yeah.
Fall? Okay. Well, yeah. Fair.
As long as the water's not too cold.
Late summer, fall. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would pair pretty well with.
I don't think I would go with lobster.
I do
A
like
lobster roll,
some chicken
specifically.
Lobster roll. Yeah.
Like not lobster itself, but on the roll, maybe like Connecticut style. With
I would probably
with
go
the butter.
This is a good pizza beer. Yeah, just flat out pepperoni pizza. Yeah. Give me a slice. Let's watch a Patriots
Watch
game.
the Sox.
Yeah.
No, they're not watching the Patriots anymore.
Yeah.
They're losers.
We don't watch those guys. Wow. Dang.
Wow.
Well, I mean, have you ever met anybody from Boston? They love winners. As soon as they lose, they're dead to them.
Tom Brady. Ooh.
Yeah, they're all Bucks fans now.
Yeah, that they are. Okay, so
Wow.
from Harpoon, then the Long Claw, we are going to rate that
Long
one
Thaw.
a 3. Long
Long
Thaw.
Thaw.
Sorry,
I
Long
thought you were
Thaw.
going to say the long thaw.
The big dig.
Okay, sticking into the Northeast.
If you find a beer called the Long Thong, don't drink it.
Somebody call Cisco. He's
Oh,
got
I'm sure. If it's
Ew.
not been invented, it has been now.
Gosh. Okay, let's talk about Boston Beer Company's Cold Snap. This is a 5.3% white ale. Stirring from the haze of winter, it's a refreshing, unfiltered white ale. Awakens its smooth wheat with the bright snap of spring spices. From the subtle sweetness of orange peel and plum to the peppery bite of fresh ground coriander, the blend of spices creates just the right refreshing kick to signal the spring is on its way.
Definitely get coriander. It's kind of, I don't know, to me, this beer is kind of a one note little.
This is the
Yeah.
one beer I absolutely did not like in this flight. And it got worse as it warmed up. Kind of a burnt caramel, spicy. I actually wrote down if there is such a thing as a West Coast wheat, this is it. It has all the characteristics of a West Coast IPA that are just screwed up. This is absolutely at the bottom, for me. I would probably just spit this out and say, you got anything else on tap other than this?
He'd spit it right
Again,
on.
I prefer it to the Harpoon.
He'd spit it right in Jim Cook's face.
I'm sorry.
Wouldn't have to angle up or down too much.
Wow. Rude.
That was rude.
He's a very nice man, though.
No, he is.
Yeah.
He really, really
He
is.
I just don't like this beer.
And I totally concur. To me, it tastes like second or third runnings.
Ooh. Just sort of slightly stringent.
Yeah, I
would
get
just-
that. I get that on the
mash
end,
water.
and
Yeah.
sorry.
I would say if you're in the beer store, just reach over for their winter lager. Go on.
Or find some Oktoberfest that's been sitting.
We're here to drink death.
Yeah. Yeah, just get a Sam 70. Was it Sam 76?
Yes. Oh, didn't they rebrand it? I don't know.
Well, there's like Wicked Good, Hazy something, and then Wicked something. And
No,
then
I think the
something.
way that Reverend Mark said it, I would say if you're going to find this, I guarantee you the winter lager is sitting right there alongside it.
Yep.
I would grab
Just
the winter
grab that
lager all day
instead.
long and just leave this to somebody else.
Yeah,
Grab the last
That-
6-pack of Winter
That
Lager.
cousin
and let
from
the other guy-
Connecticut that you don't like.
That Pat's fan.
yeah. This one just I hate to say it, but it was a little disappointing for me. I had higher expectations for it.
Tommy, try this beer.
That's what they told me in the 6th grade, too. We had higher expectations.
You can do better.
Was that a needs improvement grade? No.
Wow. Well, the Sam Adams Cold Snap White Ale, we rated a generous 3.
Very generous.
Very generous 3.
Yes.
We rated it when it was cold.
Who are those people?
Yeah.
Was not I.
And
Yes. The proctologist would say, give me anything but a butt light.
Wow.
I'm not giving you the rim shot on that one. Whoa, wait a minute.
Whoa. Family beer show, Dave. Family beer show.
Family beer show
This
with
is how
your
my family
latte.
talks.
what is that? Okay. So the last beer that we are going to talk about, first of all, the color of this is completely different than anything that we've had up to this point. Okay. And we are going to stick with the Northeast because that's where the best beers are. Funny. Haha, no, somewhat. Great.
It was a joke.
Yes, because the accumulation is the other end. Spencer Brewery. their winter warmer. It's a 5.3% amber lager, and it is a traditional amber lager that's brewed with honey and spice and everything lovely in the universe.
Made by monks.
Tasting this beer makes me want to take a vow and join the monastery. Seriously. Wow.
Wow. So I really love the Spencer Brewery. It's really cool having a Trappist, brewery on USA soil. Totally cool.
Especially all the hoops they had to jump through to do it.
I mean, it took them almost 6 years, I believe, or more longer to secure all the marketing rights, to do this. So this is one of the beers that has been added to the catalog over time. This is the beer that I wrote down, mulled spice beer. So there's a lot of clove and cinnamon on this. And the finish on this is exceptionally sweet. So I would definitely say of probably all of the winter style beers, this is going down that path of being a full blown winter warmer. It's just that it's an amber beer. Everybody's nodding your head, Dave. Where are you, man?
Yes.
So yeah. The I don't know that I would probably choose this over a winter warmer. I probably would. I would want to go down the path of having something that was a bit darker and had a bit bigger body to it than this.
That's what she said.
Okay.
I like a thick beer.
Wow. TIHACC.
Family beer show, Mike. Family beer show.
However, I think that if somebody was scared of all the big, heavy, deep behemoths that we all know and love and appreciate
in the wintertime,
that this might be a nice gateway. It's richer. There's a lot more layers going on. That honey sweetness on the end is absolutely stunning, by the way. But it's more approachable,
Well, and you can drink some and you won't get wrecked.
I love barley wines. I love stouts. I love the big winter dark beers, but I can't drink them all the time, and I can't drink too much of them.
Sure.
I could easily finish a 6-pack of this.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't, but I could.
Right.
And not feel bad or be wasted or anything.
Right. I mean, not at all.
And I know this may be a little anecdotal, but with your Trappist breweries, they say traditionally that most days during the week, except for Sundays, they can only drink single-strength beers. So this, to me, would be a working person's beer.
It's a Wednesday beer.
Yes. And you can only drink doubles on Sundays.
Gotcha.
So...
Yeah.
So totally. I see this as a working person's beer.
So that's why Sundays are 2 for 1.
Yes.
That gets
at the 96 button. thesis.
And then the triples are for high holy days.
Slow but effective, folks.
Nice. But it doesn't make sense. And I think, as a winter beer, this is a very quaffable, everyday kind of thing.
Is this the beer you would wear your Bernie mittens and hold it gently and lovingly?
While you looked angrily over your mask?
Yes.
I'm going to go with Accumulation. I would pair with Bernie Mittens.
Yeah. He needs something that's crisper. Well, the Spencer Brewery Winter Lager, or Winter Warmer rather, we rated a 4. Well, I think this was a really good flight and a really good showcase of the lighter side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was it's an interesting flight and a good way to look at things different. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening to us online, do yourself a favor and tap.
Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
Please tap and subscribe with the subscribe button. The easiest way to listen to our show is to ask Siri, Alexa, Google, or Uncle Larry, play podcast Sip, Suds, and Smokes.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at Sip Suds Smokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll also be able to interact with the thousands of other fans on those social media platforms.
Do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a great big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well.
Well, Reverend Mark, it's been a pleasure.
As always, lovely, lovely.
Good boy, Mike.
I saw some of that feedback. People were asking for what did our faces look like, and I was like, no, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
They're not ready for that yet.
Come back and join us for another exciting episode of Sip, Suds, and Smokes. I will ask you to keep on sipping.
Good boy, Drew.
Thanks for having me.
Good boy, Dave.
Hey, thanks for having Drew.
Hey, Drew. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Drew. Yes. Wait, hold on.
This is good old Gal Juliana. Thank you so much for joining us, and catch you next time.
This has been a one-tan hand production of Sip, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the good old boys, will see you all next time.